Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's topic is a little different. Okay, so in general terms, I just want to talk about what I do for a living, right? In terms of the profession, and just in general, right? IT companies, for layman understanding. Okay, this is not for people in my profession, because it may sound very um, basic or something that they already know. But this is for people, maybe from the previous generation or from a different profession, right? Like doctors or lawyers, or anybody else, right? In business. So the reason why I thought about doing this is it's not easy to understand, what IT people, do, right, at work. Like if you ask a doctor, it's very easy, right? I mean, to understand what they do for a living. Even if you go a little bit deeper, then still it is clear. Like, a general physician, all right, or somebody who is doing ophthalmology, right? A gynecologist, a dentist, right? Um, it's very easy to understand. But and even with the lawyer thing, right? It's easy, like a criminal lawyer, I don't know, a civil lawyer. So stuff like that, it's understandable to the general public, right? Even in business for that matter, like if you know the domain, like if somebody is in the auto industry, right? Like say maybe um, any of the leading auto industries, okay, what kind of products they're building, you see what's the end product, right? And then you can just make your own uh, rational understandings about what that profession is all about. Okay, you would have different what you call divisions like sales, marketing, product owners, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you know that they are all looking collectively to sell a car, maybe, right? To launch a new model across different geography and stuff like that. But when it comes to IT professionals, all you know is they do something with the computers, right? But what exactly, right? How does it translate into monetary, what do you call, mm, business, right? A viable monetary day-to-day business. Like, what is the catch? Like, why, working on a computer, um, having, some deliverable for the client is a business of in its own, right? And across different clients. So if you just go and ask general public, okay, where is he working, okay, and then he'll say, okay, yeah, he's working in an IT company, and that's it, right? And maybe the company name they would say, but what exactly they do after that, there's no conversation, right? But if it's like a other profession like doctor or even in government service, okay, which department, okay, electricity department, telecom department, right? A lot of things, it's easy to understand. But for IT professionals, it typically stops at um, the company that you're working for, and probably the location. If you're abroad, then probably they'll also talk about it, right? So this video is just to give a high level understanding of what you know work entails for IT professionals. So yeah, let me talk about from my position. It would be similar, but in general, how this works is, so there is a IT company, okay, there are multiple models, but I'll just talk about one model. There's a consulting company which is an IT company, right? The different IT companies, and they work for different clients, right? In their IT or software solutions. For example, right? Okay, before I get into this model, and the other side is the client itself. It could be an insurance company, it could be a bank, it could be a retail, right? It could have an IT division. It should have, I mean, it does have an IT department of its own, right? With the technology teams uh, working in their departments. So, the other model is folks working directly for the client, right? And the company runs its own technology division, right? End to end. So that's another model. So in the first model, what happens is, as I said, there is an IT company, it deals with multiple clients, right? And then they have a deal, right? A business deal. Um, Obviously, it's a better deal. That's the reason they are going with the IT companies as opposed to running it in house, right? So in that model, you have people working in different geographies, right? That's what benefits the client, right? In terms of cost, in terms of round the clock availability, right? So that's where this model mostly works, and that's why there's a strong presence or existence of these IT companies in the first place, right? And the talent is there, of course, because if that's what the company does for a living, as opposed to a retailer, right, or insurance company, uh, it has IT or technology as a division. But IT companies, that's all they do, right? It's like Google or Microsoft, for example. That's all they do, right? They are a technology company, so all they do is innovate and bring new products and make things better, right? But you cannot have those divisions to innovate products in, say, a bank, right? Because that's not their main goal, right? The main goal is having banking solutions to the customers. So that's why you have these different players exist out there, right? So coming to the actual topic of the discussion, right? Um, what does a typical IT professional do, right? So okay, you have a computer, but what's the end product? Like, if somebody wants to know, okay, I did my work for a day, a week, or a month, so what do I see? What's the end product, right? Is there a new website? Is there another google.com? No, that's not how it works. So I'll just take any random domain, right? Say a banking domain. We have a bank, right? So say a bank has its bank.com website. A simple example, okay? So that people would easily understand. It's not as simple as what I'm saying, but just because this video is, to talk about this in a layman language, I'll keep it very simple, right? So bank.com, right? And right now we are in the digital age, so everything happens online, right? I mean, you have this internet banking, right? You have even purchases going through internet banking, right? Example. And then if you want to apply for a loan, right, or a mortgage, car loan, anything, so most of it is available online, especially in the developed world. They have made it too much of the facility or services available online, even in the mobile app for that matter, like depositing a check, as critical as that, it's now on the phone. You don't need to go to a bank, right? So things like that. Um, so what the work entails is ensuring that whatever goes in the background to facilitate you say to make a bill payment, right? Make an electricity bill payment or a credit card payment online, whatever it takes in the back end, right, to allow you to go through that payment, that's at a high level, that's what the IT professionals do, right? Um, so there are multiple categories. One is to, innovate and bring in new products. So once I decide, okay, I'll have a new kind of a credit card, right? How does it translate it into, reality? Okay, there's a physical card aspect, right? There's a chip, and then there is a digital aspect to it as well, to ensure that that gets recorded in the bank's system, right, or the server. I don't want to get technical, but in the bank's digital space, right? So in order to allow that to happen, IT professionals run projects to make, that new credit card acceptable by this bank.com website, right? And then the other broader service line is, the keeping the lights on, as they call it, right? It's not a new or enhancement, nothing. It's to ensure the day to day, works fine. You don't have trouble sending money to your friends internationally, right? Locally, making your ATM withdrawals, right? Anything related to your daily banking needs, right? To ensure that goes through, and it's not smooth. Every day, the systems don't work the way it should. Not necessarily it's related to, the systems themselves, but you know it's mostly related to the people and processes, right? A lot of factors like, credit card fraud and people misrepresenting, their identities or something that they want to credit back because of XYZ reasons, right? So that's where, the work comes in, right? And the frontline folks, they will be interacting with the customers about the problems or whatever the request or the needs they have, and to translate that into, you know like a fix in the system, or to ensure that the problem is solved, it has to be done by the IT professionals, right, in the back end, to ensure that the payments go through, for example, right? So this is at a high level. I'll stop here. Probably, it would be too much of an information, but yeah, just a recap, right? A summary. This is what at a high level they do. The IT professionals, they do. Um, so in terms of, as I was talking in the beginning, right? In terms of the end product, like, okay, being a doctor or a painter, you have some end product. Here, when you work, you don't really have an end product necessarily, unless you're part of a team which is building new products. It is a division or a department within the clients. So just to give you an example, I just gave you an example of a credit card, right? Just imagine there is a new retail store, right? And as you know that mostly everything is now digital, right? Including Amazon .com, or even Walmart and all those big retail stores. Yeah, shopping happens online, right? So if there's a new player coming up, and it needs to set up a website, payment systems, whatnot, right? You could be part of that team to build that website and just replicate what we have in other across other sectors or other players, right? So during that instance the end product is readily visible, right? Say abc.com, another shopping website is created, right? So you know that, okay, what did you do? Okay, I built that website, right? And you're shopping on that website now, right? So that's something I built. So you do have visible, what do you call, end products to show, so that the common man understands. But this is just one example, right? It's not generic across all the departments within the IT companies, right? Sometimes you may be part of that team, but after you did your part, you'll be moved to another project, so you won't be there to realize the end goal, right? Realize the final, say, implementation of the new product, right? So that's where the non-visible part comes in, right? As I said, to ensure the day-to-day operations work fine, um, this is one aspect of it, right? But the bank.com example that I gave, that's very visible, right? Because you would do that. That's just one aspect. There are many aspects in a client, right? A retail, bank, insurance company, which is not visible. I have been part of that. Um, I've been part of those sectors where it's not really readily visible to the end customers necessarily, but indirectly it is related or directly being benefited by the people working in that company, right? In the bank or insurance company or retail store, right? Example, somebody doing a fraud, right? So in banks, fraud is one of the biggest focus areas, right? That like they have their attention on, because one fraud could lead to many issues, right? Like financial, reputational, legal, right? And then it's catastrophic for a bank, right? So they invest heavily in these in fraud areas, right? So that's not readily visible. If there are teams who are working very diligently on preventing fraud, right? Or when the fraud happens, how to mitigate it so that there's less impact or no impact. Those things are not like very popular, right, to the general public, because nobody sees that, right? It's just like how many issues or say crimes that the police was able to intercept, right, or stop before it actually happened. That's not popular, and it's like nobody knows it and they never appreciate you for that, right? But when it happens and it's visible, then you're appreciated, right? So there are some, not some, many areas which are non-visible, right? So that's where it gets a little tricky for IT professionals to explain what they do for a living. But at a high level, yeah, I'll just stick to this. Although I can just talk in depth on this, and it could become too technical for the folks who don't know anything about this profession. So yeah, I'll stick to this much for now. So hope you guys got a sense of what it entails, right, at a high level. Okay, now at the end of this video you'll be like, okay, now I know whenever I see payment going through, whenever I shop something on Amazon.com and I get the product, okay, that guy made it happen in some small way, right? So that's the intention of making this video. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, then hit that like button, comment, subscribe and share with your friends and family. Thank you and bye.